Good evening. Quick video. There's no quick videos with me because I talk too much, but I will try and keep it brief. I'm making a video about Palestine Action, prescribed terrorist organisation or terrorist group, or is it a thought crime? Does it actually exist? But anyway, it really does exist in law. The reason I'm making this video is I've just seen so many sort of good-hearted, decent people being arrested for standing up or sitting down, wearing a placard or holding a placard that says, please stop killing children. Please end the Gaza genocide. And they're being arrested. Over 200 so far. And it's absolutely insane. So the purpose of this video is how to deal with the police. I've been arrested by the Terrorism Police so many times. On one instance, or 7 instances, on just 7 different occasions, there were 7 counts of me breaching police bail. The reason I'm telling you is not to impress you upon it or anything, but to impress upon you on how you deal with these people. So 7 charges. The police had created bail conditions that said I must remove my website. My website is policeexpenses.co.uk. The police had brutalised me in custody, wiped the CCTV. I made the biggest fuss you could possibly imagine, and I'd do it again, and they know that. But unfortunately, the police had wiped the CCTV in a freak accident, and the officers had amnesia. Don't deny it. They don't say the guy's a nutter, he made it all up. They don't deny. So that's how the system works, and that's what you're up against. I'm looking at these good-hearted people. I watched the surgeon yesterday who was still in his medical garb, standing with a placard saying, end the genocide, save children. And his mistake, the one thing that he did wrong was he engaged with the police. So he was asking the police, because he thought, well, they're like me. You know, they've probably got families. They're normal people. They're going online and seeing all these kids being massacred. And he's pissed off about it, and not unreasonably. And he just assumed that they would be like-minded. So he was engaging with them, saying, well, can I say this? Can I phrase things like this? And he was asking for their permission on what he couldn't say. Now, here's the point. If you want to know the law about what you can say, what you can't say, and more importantly, how you say it, ask a lawyer. Don't engage with a police officer. So these protesters, when the police come along and say, do you think this? Do you believe this? Are you part of that? Is this group, all this kind of nonsense? There's one answer. I'm really thank you for speaking to me, but I've got no comment to make. And if they arrest you, let them arrest you. Now, for any normal person that has no interaction with the police, their only interaction would be with the police if they were a victim of a crime, and obviously they'd have the police on their side, hopefully supporting them. And then conversely, if they were driving badly, perhaps a traffic offence or whatever, speed, going too fast, or you're being on the phone or doing something silly they shouldn't be doing when they're driving, traffic cops. That's the only real instances that the public come into contact with the police. So you can see online Stephen Kapos in his late 80s. He's a Holocaust survivor. He's Jewish. He's standing there, or sitting there with a placard, saying, I'm a Holocaust survivor. I'd like the genocide to stop, and please stop killing children. And the police arrest him. It's insane. It's insane. So the one answer to all and every question about you is, I've got no comment to make. You're peaceful. You're being respectful. You're not ranting and raving and effing and blinding and screaming out profanities. You're just there saying, I'm really upset they're killing children. I'd like it to stop. It's not an unreasonable request. I don't believe there's a jury on planet Earth, or certainly in this country anyway, that will convict you. So there's over 200 so far that have been arrested. Now, this is an indictable offence. So the person would then go to a magistrate's court, first of all, where they would be asked, do they plead guilty or not guilty to the charge or charges, terrorism charges. I mean, this is just insane. This is just Alice in Wonderland politics. This is just insane. Created by Keir Starmer, who's a human rights lawyer. I mean, you could not make this nonsense up. So they'll ask you for your name and address, and more importantly, do you plead guilty or not guilty? A date will be set for trial, and then you will be sent up to the Crown Court, where you'll go through the same processes, but this time you will appear in front of a jury of your peers. Will a jury convict you of standing there peacefully? I personally don't think so, but it's frightening for you. I mean, it's really, really frightening. That's the bit that most people don't get. I mean, I lost my fear of the police because I've been arrested so many times. When they used to arrest me initially, I used to be terrified. I was genuinely, and I promise you, I'm a complete wimp. I'd be absolutely terrified. But I stood my ground, and then I lost my fear for them because of the nonsense that they would come out. But the most important thing that I try to emphasise in this is do not speak to the police. They're not your friends. They're not there saying, how are you, mate? How's your mum? How's your friends? How's kids at school? They're not interested in any of that. They're looking for any reason that they can arrest you because they've got quotas to hit and they're under pressure from the government to try and wrap this up because there's a genocide going on. It's very, very embarrassing for the government. So all these protesters are an inconvenient nuisance. But to reassure you, in the whole of the system, there's lawyers out there that will help you for free. There's lots of lawyers out there, not all of them, but there are certain lawyers out there who will definitely help you for free, give you some good advice. There's people in the system that are really good. And I mentioned that I got arrested, just there was 7 shots, there were so many arrests, but 7 of them related to this breach of police bail. And the judge asked me, so the Crown Prosecution Service, on the day of my trial, reduced them down. There was the 7 charges to 1 charge. So it was just 1 charge of breaking police bail, which I had, by the way. I go in the police station, they'd lock me up for a few hours. I'd drink loads of cups of tea, because tea was actually quite nice. And then they would bring in the police bail conditions. And as soon as I signed the police bail conditions to say that I would remove my website, which was policeexpenses.co.uk, they would let me free. And obviously I just go out there and ignore them. And when we got to my trial, the judge asked me, why did you repeatedly break break the police bail conditions? And I said, Your Honour, I said, they brutalised me in custody and wiped the CCTV. The 2 officers that did that, don't deny it. I'd deny it. If someone accused you, or if you'd been accused of brutalising someone, you really hadn't done it, you go, nuts. No, the guy's a lunatic. He never made it up. He's made it up. He's nuts. But the police officer didn't say that. They said they couldn't remember what happened in that room. Well, I remembered. I still remember to this day. And I was not going to let them get away with it. And I said to the judge, I said, I'm a sort of white working class guy. I employ people. I have my own business. I said, if the police can do that to me, some little black kid on an estate in southeast London that might be a bit of a toe rag, they could do that to him and he would have no chance against these thugs. And I was just going to not let the police get away with it. And I was going to hold them to account and take it as far as I can. And I said, and everything that I've said on my website is accurate, honest and true, and I say it respectfully. I'm not ranting and raving, and I believe I have a right to say that, and I'm not going to be told by any police officer what I can and cannot say. And the judge thought for a moment, nodded and said, I tend to agree. So I was very lucky. So there are good people in the system, so don't think the whole system's out to get you, because that's exactly how you're going to feel, and that's how the system is designed. But there are sensible people in there. There are also very nice people. Got loads of encouragement when I was at various court services from members of the court service who nudged me and say, look, we're with you, and the people here are supporting you. So it was always very, it was really lovely to have that support. I'm going to put a note, a link in the description to this video. And it's by a professor. So it's a US video, so it's a different legal jurisdiction, but the principles are exactly the same. They're both common law jurisdictions. And the professor of law, Duane, I can't remember his surname, actually says, the title of the video is Why You Should Never Speak to the Police. And it's a debate with the professor of law versus a police officer. And he will explain clearly why you politely and respectfully just don't engage with the police. So I hope this helps you. Do not speak to the police. They're not your friends. They're not there to help you. On a side note, I'll tell you a little story. At Scotland Yard right now, I can't really give any more information because it could indicate who the person is, but a very senior person has expressed concern within Scotland Yard about the police being used to arrest peaceful activists that are just standing there with placards saying, please stop killing kids. Can we stop the Gaza genocide? That person now is being internally investigated for breaches of the Terrorism Act. And that's happening inside Scotland Yard right now. So it's Alice in Wonderland politics. It's an Alice in Wonderland world. I just don't know what to say. But thanks for watching, and please share this, and I hope it helps at least one person. Just don't speak to the police. Thank you.